Yo, it's your boy DJ Triggs of Db8 Sports. Clearly, you see, Steve Metrics is not with us right now. He is up north and having some pretty fun times with his internet. I'm sure we've all been there. So um, I guess I'll go through and rock out some FIBA basketball for the Team USA. Only a couple games to talk about. I'll wait till Metrics gets his thing going, and we will hit some fantasy football. Probably a little bit of the preseason games. Not too much to talk about there, but Metrics loves his sleepers, so I'll let him get that going. But first, USA played New Zealand, which, if you didn't check out our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, um, I made a fun little video on there about the dancing that New Zealand did at the beginning of the game, which reminded me of the WWE and the Usos, the way they used to do their tribal dance back in the day. Um, just a little bit of fun there. It was quite the intimidation tactic by New Zealand to start the game off. Um, Bobby Portis and like Jalen Brunson and those guys were just kind of staring at the screen like, what is going on? Is everybody else watching the same thing we're seeing? So that was pretty fun. Hey, Mr. Metrics, you are back.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the Americans in that pregame against New Zealand, where I'm just kind of like standing there saying, what's going on around here?" Yeah, because I got some real wonky internet stuff going on at the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a little studio on the road today. So yeah, kind of different internet settings and just kind of getting used to things. So
Yeah.
yeah, just something we'll yeah, just have to work on in the future. But yeah, I'm here. We're live, and yeah, American basketball looking pretty sharp the other day between all their guys like Paolo Banchero and the
Oh,
rest of the crew.
see, I am completely the opposite. So I actually think like we have a really weak drawing. No
Okay.
offense to Jordan or New Zealand,
Oh yeah,
um,
you're right.
or Greece at all without Giannis, but like
Yep.
when the when the best player on Greece is Papa Giannis, who was like a first round pick for the Suns, I want to say.
Okay.
I can't remember, but he was definitely a first round pick. Um, and basically didn't make it in the NBA. And he was kind of dogging us in the paint. Uh, I know I brought that up before where like I didn't think Jaren Jackson Jr. had what it took to like stop anyone in the paint. And
Okay.
it is pretty obvious like after the New Zealand game and definitely after the Greece game that we just get punished down low. And Jaren Jackson Jr., yeah, he gets his blocks here and there, and that's kind of how he led the NBA in blocks, and got Defensive Player of the Year, which he probably didn't deserve. Um, no homer, but Brooke Lopez did kind of the same thing. But yeah,
Yeah, I did.
anywho, um, and had a higher percentage of shots changed in. So
Yes.
I don't know. Um, but yeah, the like he's getting just punished. Like there's no other word for it. Like Papagiannis for Greece, and we'll get to that game, I guess, second. But he was just taking him down low at the beginning of the game and just backing him down and putting up easy like hook shots. And there was nothing Jaren Jackson could do.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
and that was kind of what I was saying about New Zealand too. Is like in my notes, New Zealand made the US, and I know people don't like this word, but they made the US look soft. And like when guys are just banging around, lots of like garbage plays where it was just like, oh, set a hard screen. US basically ran into the screen and then New Zealand would score. And it was like, okay, you don't know how to stop a pick and roll? Like, well,
Right.
when does that happen? Um, I also wrote down a lot of garbage footwork, um,
Oh,
which
okay.
the commentators, and I put this quote down exactly. The commentators said, and I quote, "Hey guys, uh, when you come to play from overseas, you always have to adjust. Coaches need to get on that." And one of the things that kept happening was traveling. Like, I don't know if you watched any of the games, but we traveled a lot.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm a
can't
youth
see that.
basketball coach, but uh, um, it's one of the things I teach my kids a lot is when you catch the ball, you have to dribble before you take a step.
Yes.
And apparently in the NBA, guys don't know that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very strange that they traveled like a lot. And even in the Greece game, a lot. Like I feel like everyone traveled and they got called for it. And then they'd look at the ref and be like, "Oh, I didn't travel." Oh, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
what
I've
else did
seen
I
plenty of
oh,
that, and yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Triggs. Well, I mean, that reminds me
One
of
of the
like back in
things
the days too. Like, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's probably your internet that's making us like
It
overlap.
is.
You go
It
ahead.
is. Okay. So yeah, it reminds me of like playing baseball growing up, and you see it in the pros too. Like there's plenty of times where like you got a can of corn hit to the outfield and you have two guys coming together and neither of them calls the other guy off. Like that's basics 101. Like communicate, just let the other person know that you got it. Normally your center fielder is more of your commander, your general that's out there in the outfield, so it should be more often than not, it should be that player dictating the commands and really initiating the communication. But you don't see that. And I don't know if there's any equivalent to that in basketball, but yeah, when it comes down to the fundamentals of not dribbling before you take a step, that's pretty important. And you can't make those mistakes when you're playing against better teams like the Germanys and the Slovenias of the world.
Yeah, so it's funny because I also coach baseball, but, I tell my kids all the time, "Be loud and obnoxious." That is, like, rule number 1. Uh,
Yep,
if no one's talking, nothing gets communicated. If everyone's talking, it gets communicated pretty fast because everyone's talking.
exactly.
Um, so one of the things I wrote down, and it made me laugh when I wrote it down, Austin Reeves is him. Um, I don't know if you remember in the playoffs or no, it was during like the end of the season when the Lakers were making their run to the playoffs. Austin Reeves was like, "I am him," and
Okay.
I was just like, he was literally destroying New Zealand, and I'm like, is this guy really that good? And I'm just missing
Right.
it? Maybe. Um,
Maybe.
and uh, I put down Jaren Jackson needs to step up on defense. Uh, Anthony Edwards is basically showing that he's the best player on the team. Uh, Jalen Brunson plays way too much one-on-one ball. For a point guard, the guy does not pass at all. I don't know if
Oh,
that's what
wow.
Steve Kerr and you know, like the
Oh, the
coaches are.
Gonzaga head coach?
I can't remember who else is on the. I know it's Spo from Miami, Kerr,
Yeah. And
Grant
then you
Hill, I
have,
think is out there.
Yeah, and you have the head coach of Gonzaga. I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, I'm blanking too.
Yeah, but he's probably up there in the Mountain West, in that Pacific Northwest part of the country with Steve Kerr. So they're probably two of the highest regarded coaches in basketball. So yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool that they're on the same staff. I like that.
it's just so weird that like no one's making them pass. Uh, like oh,
Right.
Paulo Banchero, like that dude,
I think he's
literally
amazing.
right. I was like, where? It was so crazy in the New Zealand game. Like the team literally looked like they didn't know what they were doing, and then this like rookie guy comes in, or he's a second year now, but comes in
Right.
and just smashes on defense, smashes on offense. I think he had like 20 points or something.
Yeah.
But he was just
Yeah.
lighting them up. Uh, and then
Absolutely.
I wrote this down. I was a little disappointed. Josh Hart and Tyrese
Mm.
Halliburton, both are liabilities on defense.
Okay.
Like they, I mean, Tyrese is pretty good in the NBA. Josh Hart is kind of a role player, but man, their defense is horrible. Like,
Gotcha.
whoa. Um,
Yeah, and I'm sure Bobby Portis ain't used to having a bad defense, considering he comes from Milwaukee, a very defensive-oriented team.
so one of the things, like, all right, I also put like just for New Zealand, just so people don't think I'm just smashing on the US. Illy, number 5. This dude, like, best scorer on their team by far. He was given Josh Hart, Tyrese Halliburton, um, Jalen Brunson, just giving them fits. Like he was scoring at will, and I was like, is anyone gonna try and stop this guy, or is he just that good? And clearly he's not that good, but I don't know. Um, number 3, I could not like pronounce his name, but he was just mean and nasty. Like he would go in there and just do the dirty stuff to Jaren Jackson, and there was nothing else. But then when Paulo got in there, oh, it was a different ball game. Like he was not just bullying him for an undersized 5, which he plays a lot of 3-4 in
Sure.
Orlando. So it was kind
Yeah.
of weird. Kind of weird. Uh,
Yeah. But
lots
he
of
looked
whistles.
solid. I mean, like, that was a game. Yeah.
It
It
was
just looked like Paulo, like, really stepped up, and this is a game where he's showing us that, like, he is one of the better players in the NBA, and this is the beginning of that ascension.
yeah, I hope so. I really do. Um, but that game was just a lot of nasty. There was a lot of whistles, a lot of fouls. And then my favorite part of the New Zealand team, there's a guy named Fotu, right?
Okay.
Fotu. His number
Okay.
is
Is
Fotu.
42?
It is.
Nice. Nice. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that made me
that's the way it
laugh.
should be.
And they
That's
asked him,
awesome.
they asked him why he used that number, and he's like, "It's my name."
True. That's true.
Um, And then for Greece, I'll make this one a little quicker. Uh,
Sure.
but Greece, like I said, Papagiannis basically banged us down low and pushed us around. Uh, I don't know if you saw uh, during the weekend, Brandon Ingram came out and said like, "Oh, I need to get more touches" or whatever he was trying to say. Um, did you hear about that?
No, not really. I mean, I remember Brandon Ingram from I want to say his Kentucky days, but ever since he's been in the league in New Orleans, I haven't really heard much of the guy.
Well, he's an all-star in New Orleans. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah,
guess like
yeah,
during the weekend, he kind of made a comment about like he's got to change, like he's not playing as himself and he's got to get more touches and yada yada. Well, you could clearly tell they were trying to get him touches at the beginning of the game, and he was
yeah.
just breaking a lot, like way more than he needed. Uh, to the
Gotcha.
point where I was kind of like, maybe he shouldn't be a starter anymore. If he's not going to play
Oh wow.
defense and then
Yeah,
he can't hit a shot and he's kind of complaining, then why would he start? But
Right.
then the other thing, the biggest takeaway I got from this game in the first, and I watched, some other basketball games too. Every
Yeah.
other team looks organized. Like, they run
Okay.
plays, they set hard screens, they make good passes, they roll to the basket, and the US doesn't do any of that. Like, the starting
Right.
five is all one-on-one players. Jalen Brunson, who else do we have out there? BI, Bridges, and Triple J. Like, all of those guys literally just they catch the ball and then they run at a bunch of people. And I had a perfect example of that at the end of the first half. Anthony Edwards, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the guy, but he runs the clock down, which you're supposed to do, and then it's an ISO play. You can tell all four guys are on the outside, and then he's coming down the middle, and he literally runs into four players and just chucks it up and gets bailed out by a foul, which he got to the free throw, hit his free throws, but it was like, wow, that was ugly. Like, they could have just called a charge because he just ran a bunch of people over. Um,
Right.
but the second unit, Halliburton, Reeves, Boncaro, Cam Johnson, and even Josh Hart, like, those dudes move the ball, they set screens, they get a lot more open, they get open shots. Like, in the second quarter, they went on a run by themselves and basically blew blew grease out in that second quarter and ran away with the game. And the worst part, Walker Kessler and Bobby Portis didn't really play the entire first half.
Mm.
And once Bobby Portis came into the second half, you could tell he was like, I'm gonna go get mine. I think he put up like 10 and 5 in like no minutes at in the
Wow.
second half. I was like,
Wow.
why isn't this guy playing? Weird.
Yeah. And especially a guy who can play defense like he does. And I mean, he's essentially the pseudo Giannis substitute when he comes into the game for the Bucks, or he's that Brook Lopez relief for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I even love it sometimes too when they kind of morph the rotation. They run all three of them, but that is a very significant role that Bobby Portis plays for us because Giannis can't play all the minutes and Brook Lopez can't play all the minutes, and you need someone fresh. It has to be one of those three coming off the bench. And Bobby Portis is that guy who invokes energy into the new lineup. So, yeah, I love seeing that roll out of Bobby Portis, but maybe with Team USA, he probably should be a starter. Or at least there needs to be that bounce, that rhythm between him and Jarrett Jackson. I mean, I
Yeah.
love Jarrett Jackson. I love seeing that guy play. But I think they need to really focus on that defensive mentality and do that kind of thing. Just wondering out of left field. I mean, I saw him play in the summer league with the Bucks. But is Mark Few's guy on Team USA? Is Drew Timme there with Team USA?
No.
No, he's not. Okay,
No.
bummer. That's a real bummer because that'd be pretty cool to see him and Portis from the Bucks kind of have some kind of Gonzaga connection up with Team USA. But oh well.
I don't even think Drew Timmy's gonna be in the NBA. I want to say he's with the Herd right now, but that
Okay.
might not even be
Yeah.
guaranteed. He was just a
Yeah.
roster add-on during the summer league.
Right. Right. And I saw some good play out of him, but yeah, he's definitely a developmental guy. And plus, even 2 years ago, he enrolled into the NBA draft and then he rescinded himself. So he definitely knew he wasn't up to caliber. So he finished his schooling with Gonzaga, and that's the right thing to do. So yeah, it is what it is.
And just the last part, so Jordan, New Zealand, Greece are in the same bracket as Team USA. Basically, everybody beats Jordan, and that's kind of how
Yeah,
it goes. Uh, and the US is guaranteed to go to the next round, or like the knockout round, I think it is.
knockout. Yeah.
Um, Luka Luka Doncic is unstoppable. Uh, Dennis Schroeder should be getting way more money in the NBA than he does. He's averaging like 30. Uh,
Well, yeah, I mean, he could have signed that massive deal way back when with the Lakers, but he flipped a
Good.
coin and yeah, he drew the wrong side of the coin.
He did.
I don't understand why he did it. But Schroeder's always been a contrarian. He's always been kind of an oddball. Fantastic player, had amazing synergy the first go around with LeBron, but just a real bummer to see him screw up like that. But is what it is. So
Yeah.
so
There's a
hey,
question about Banchero.
yeah,
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 that
that's
dude
from Kylie. So
is
welcome back, Kylie.
hello again. Uh, Paulo is like doing some things that I was not ready for. I actually think he should take Brandon Ingram's starting spot. But they're
Yeah,
playing him at the 5, and I actually think if they put him at the 5 and then Jaren Jackson slides over to that stretch 4 where he's more comfortable and help side defense, getting blocks off the like pick and rolls and stuff like that,
sure,
and helping with guards would be way better because Brandon Ingram's basically doing nothing.
gotcha. Yeah,
And then yeah, just a quick rundown. France is out of title contention.
that's a shocker. That's kind of a shocker.
They lost to Latvia without Porzingis.
Wow, that'll do it.
Yeah. Uh,
That'll do it.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson is he's playing for Jordan right now, and he literally looks like Kobe Bryant. Like the way he's playing,
Okay.
I think he's even wearing the 24. And this
Oh,
dude
that's
is like
cool.
on fire, which I was like,
Nice.
I don't even know if he's in the NBA anymore. But he was supposed to be a highly touted guy and kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah. And
Cat,
that's the thing too is like those guys they'll probably like even if they don't make it in the NBA, they can either play in Asia, they can play in the Middle East, play in Europe, possibly South America. So there's definitely options for these guys. So that's cool.
Cat, Carl Anthony Towns is playing for the Dominican, which surprised me. He's literally taking all the shots, and then Jordan Clarkson's playing for the Philippines, which I also did not know, and he is literally taking all the shots on his team. Like they don't pass at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and that's kind of a real bummer to see Carl Anthony Towns not play with Team USA. But then again, that might signal something. That might signal that there is some rift with him and Kermit Wiltz, aka Anthony Edwards. I think that's showing something that is not good. I mean, I love the talent that they have up there in Minnesota, but if Carl Anthony Towns should be playing for the Americans. He would be perfect for this team. Like that that's insane.
I think Carl Anthony Towns should be traded from Minnesota, but that's just me. And Kylie said it too. Rondé Hollis Jefferson looks like Kobe left-handed. I told
Oh
you, like
wow.
he is balling. And I did not know that
Wow.
he played for the Philippines before moving to Jordan. He
Okay.
probably didn't want to share shots with Jordan Clarkson
Gotcha.
because
Hmm.
I'm telling you, if you watch Dominican, right, or you
Okay.
watch the Philippines, literally Jordan Clarkson and Carl Anthony Towns, the
Mhm.
other players just give them the ball and they just do whatever they want.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
That's fair.
there's some guy named Carleek Jones who's averaging 28 and 9, and I've only seen highlights. I don't even know what team he plays for, but like
Okay.
he is literally balling. And I'm like, who's that guy? I don't know that.
There you go.
No idea.
Nice.
But that's all
Nice.
I got.
Good stuff,
That's
man.
all my FIFA. I
There you
took up
go.
half a
There you
show in
go.
FIFA.
Hey, there you go. That's FIFA. That's good stuff. I mean, I love seeing that international play. I mean, I really want to see more of the the whole part of the world when it comes to basketball kind of become more competitive. That's why my favorite international sporting event by far is the World Baseball Classic because the Americans are already at a disadvantage, and pretty much the whole spread spectrum of international nations are all really, really solid. So it's a pretty good spectrum that you get from the competition across the world. And the U.S. was good this year, but still Japan and even those Hispanic nations were really impressive this go around. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
But
Kylie, that
yeah,
is true. Like Jordan Clarkson doesn't pass at all. But you're saying the local players are bad? That I could definitely guess that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what we got there, and yeah, so pretty good stuff with what's going on with FIBA and kind of preseason NBA action going on there. So yeah, good stuff. We also got some football stuff. We got fantasy football drafts going on
Oh,
left and
wait,
right.
wait a minute. Wait.
What you got?
One question. Just because I
Yeah,
saw
what you
this
got, Triggs?
and it became
Okay,
like a big deal. So there was a
okay,
gentleman who just won a track gold medal at the World Games. He said any sport, he mainly pointed out basketball, but if your
okay.
sport is only winning a championship in your country, how can they be world champions? Do you think if you win the NBA title or the Super Bowl that you're a world champion?
Yeah, yeah, you are. Because when it comes to the NFL, they are actually recruiting players internationally. There is someone on the LA Chargers, no idea if they're making the lineup, but this player was actually recruited from Nigeria
Yep,
and never played football a day in his life. And within the last 2 weeks, actually was on field, played a snap at least, played very well defensively for the LA Chargers,
he
and he
got a
is from
sack.
Nigeria.
He
Oh,
got a sack.
perfect. Even better. Yep. And it's one of my favorite things. And I mean, you know, this Triggs from being in my league, how I love to make stickers for every players. And I love putting their college universities next to their professional franchises that they play for and seeing that kind of thing. I love how the NFL is actually now putting the flag of your representation on your helmet. So
Oh,
that player exact. Oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it across almost every single player. So obviously, you're going to see a lot of American flags, but when it comes to that player, you saw the green and white flag of Nigeria. And then to me, the most iconic player, and obviously I'm biased because I see this team more often than any other team, but at the Raiders, our star player Josh Jacobs actually, and you'll like this, Kylie, the flag on the back of his helmet is the Philippines because
oh,
he has Filipino descent. So he chose to represent the Philippines on his Raider helmet, and I thought that was pretty awesome. We also have a fullback for our team, the big running back that plays on certain situations. His name's Jakob Johnson, and obviously he's from Germany, so he has a German flag on his helmet. So there is definitely a world aspect to the NFL. Even your kickers that come in the clutch, they can definitely be international players. You got Younghoe Koo playing for Atlanta. Giorgio Tavecchio is somewhere out there. I think he's playing in the XFL actually, but he's from Italy. You got the Martin Gramatica brothers from way back when. I believe they were from Spain, if
yep.
I'm correct. So yeah, you definitely have an international presence that's growing. And we know that the NFL is about to expand from 32 to 36, and they will put at least 3 teams in Europe. Like whenever that happens, it's going to be 3 teams. They're going to put 2 in Germany and 1 in London at least. So that's the way the game is moving. It is becoming more international, and then I guess the other sport. I mean, especially the NBA is a very, very international sport at the professional ranks. Basically, was that the last 5 MVPs have all been international players, if I'm correct. It's something to that
Yeah,
degree. It's Giannis, Jokic,
Jokic,
Embiid.
Embiid.
Yeah, like Doncic is pretty darn close to getting one of these days. So yeah, it's a very very diverse game. And then baseball is incredibly diverse when it comes to international players. And then the NHL hockey, yeah, I mean you're going to have players across Europe and America and Canada. So yeah, I would say all the major sports are becoming more international, and I don't know if it's like, I mean, the MLS, Major League Soccer in America, probably can't say it because your league probably doesn't rank as well to the other leagues in the world. but definitely the other leagues that kind of have their foothold on being more established than anyone else, that's why they call themselves world champs.
Yeah, I
So there you
agree.
go.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So good stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, moving on to football in the National Football League. Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, we got another thing from Kylie that yeah, US team with with wait, okay. So
Oh,
what
I
do you
I
have
actually
there?
think like the experience in FIBA will definitely uh, like show in the NBA, especially for Austin Reeves and Paulo Banchero. Like those two guys are showing what they really like do. Um, and then even on top of that, if you remember back when KD was first coming in, um, he exploded in the NBA even more so after he showed what he could do in FIBA and like the Olympics. So Ant might
Yeah,
be on another level too. Hey, we
yeah,
did get our
yeah.
first fantasy football team down there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, and actually, this is a pretty scary looking team already from the just from first glance at it. So yeah, I pretty much like a lot of what I'm seeing here. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, going to the NFL now, we got some more fantasy football stuff going on. But I really like how James really started his draft with some real heavy hitting players right out of the gates. Um,
What?
yeah. So who is the Robinson that you're seeing there? Is that an Allen Robinson
No, Bijan
or
Robinson.
oh, that's
Bijan.
Bijan? Oh my! How many
Yeah,
people are in this league, James?
that's
This is
what.
a pretty
What?
stacked team you're going on here. Because I'll tell you this: come next Sunday, James, when you're drafting against me and Triggs, you're not getting those guys, man. Like you're not. You'll get a couple of those guys at most, but a 10-team league, and these are against people, right? These are like not against like Autobots that are just
No,
like frozen in time.
these are real people.
These are real people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Waddle, those are all like minimum first 2 round
First round.
players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What?
Yeah. I mean,
And he
I
got
like
TJ
James,
Hawkinson.
who you and I like we're on pretty much the same page. I feel TJ Hawkinson's going to be the best tight end in the National Football League this year. He is one of the very few players who's going to play pissed off probably almost every game. And for a Minnesota team that doesn't have that defense yet, granted Brian Flores is there and he's going to take time to develop that defense and make them good again, and he will. But right now they don't have that defense. Like they will sling it. There's no Dalvin Cook there either. So that run game is going to be more traditionally run based and less kind of flex option out of the backfield like a lot of teams are converting into these days. So that's insane. That,
So
that's that's really an insane team he's got there.
the thing I was told about his team ahead of time was
Yeah.
they had to fill out the entire starting like lineup, which was 3 running backs or whatever, or a flex, two
Okay.
wide receivers, and the quarterback and kicker and defense before they could go
Okay.
to the bench. So
Okay.
now, like, if you look at this team, right, he
Yeah.
has three, like, right off the gate starting running backs. Like, they all
Oh
should
yeah.
start every week. Then he's got
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, who's a starter every week.
Yes.
Then he's got Lamar Jackson, who is clearly easily top 10 quarterback in
Yep.
fantasy.
Yep.
TJ Hawkinson is clearly a top 5 tight end, no doubt about it. Amari Cooper, you know how I feel about him. He's hit or miss, but
Yeah.
he's a starter. Like
I like him though. But yeah.
he's a starter. Uh
Yep.
Seattle, he got from you. You did a
Okay.
video.
Yep.
Seattle's
Yep.
pretty good
That's
defense.
me. Yep.
Harrison Buckner is on the highest scoring offense in the league. And
Absolutely.
then I'm assuming that's Zay Flowers. Like,
That's what I was thinking as well. I thought I saw Zay Flowers from Baltimore, which in his case is even more insane because he's doing the Wombo combo of Lamar Jackson plus Zay Flowers.
yeah.
Plus, Zay Flowers is the best receiver on Baltimore. It's not Odell Beckham Jr., guys. It's
But
not.
if that wasn't enough, like just
Yes.
throw his entire starting lineup out the window. Like they don't
Yeah.
exist.
Yep.
Jared Goff is a starting quarterback in fantasy. For sure. He's a top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Javonte
He's
Williams.
close.
Javonte Williams is a starting running back for Denver right now.
Yeah, we've seen that name twice. I think you like it more than I do.
No.
So
I'm not
yeah,
saying I like it. I'm not saying I love
yeah,
it. Like I like it, especially for a bench player, but
right.
he's basically free because he's a rookie, right? Or no, second year player.
He's a second year coming off a torn ACL.
But like if he starts for the season, even 10 to 12 games, you have a starting running back on your bench. Let's say he
Yeah,
popped. Boom. Jordan Addison. We both like him for Minnesota.
absolutely.
That's a flex play. Gabe Davis, another really good wide receiver.
That's the one that I'm most impressed with of every single player on his bench is Gabe Davis. I think that's
Yeah.
insane. Gabe Davis. Um, Gabe Davis could be seen as a better. Well, Gabe Davis is a more valuable player than Zay Flowers right now. I mean, he truly
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, Gabe Davis is probably the second or third best number 2 wideout in the entire NFL. And there's no way that guy should be picked after Zay Flowers.
Right. And then on top of that, like I'm not saying Lazard's going to be amazing, but he's a number 2 with the quarterback that knows him, and the number
Yes.
1 is so clear cut that like he's probably just going to be standing open by himself sometimes.
Yeah, and especially if it's against a team that has weaker wide receiver coverage, but maybe possibly more lockdown against the tight end.
Yep.
So if they possibly lock down Tyler Conklin, then your pseudo big man at the goal line is obviously Alan Lazard. And I've even been more of a proponent over the last 2 years or so of seeing Green Bay convert Alan Lazard to a tight end. I
Yeah.
thought that would have been actually amazing. Give him that Darren Waller conversion. I think that would absolutely do wonders for that guy's career. But we'll see how it goes in New York. There's some great weapons there. There's a lot of good things going on there. So yeah, that's pretty wild. So yeah, just
I'm not really sure
yeah.
why he has Brock Purdy, but whatever. Why not?
I'll be yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I've been seeing a little bit more Brock Purdy, and with me being on the road right now, like I definitely still have to catch up on these week 3 games, but I am seeing more of that rhythm out of Brock Purdy and seeing more of like that run style because when he was at Iowa State, he ran a lot. He was a very mobile quarterback. And now with the 49ers last season, it wasn't too much. It was more of just keeping the offense rolling, really understanding the game situations, doing that kind of thing. But definitely the one highlight I saw of this week 3 game is they get to the goal line and they have a play that kind of breaks down. He scrambles, he rolls out, and he scores. Granted, these guys are playing way softer in the preseason, and I guarantee if that's a regular season game, he gets jacked up at the goal line, 100%. Like he does not run scot free into the goal line like that, but it is what it is. So but I do love the synergy, and I've seen a few metrics pointed out on Twitter that he has a huge connection with George Kittle. So if you are someone who is thinking about Brock Purdy in your fantasy lineup, apparently him and George Kittle really have good synergy. And seeing George Kittle just run scot-free downfield, considering how teams have to be so ready for the run game that San Francisco presents. Granted, it is probably the most exotic run offense in the NFL. They have probably the best left tackle in the NFL. So you have to be ready for that, and that allows guys like Kittle to just run scot free. So you got that. You got Ayuk. I think there are times where Purdy's going to shine, but you really have to understand that offense to know when to start Brock Purdy in fantasy, and you also have to understand his mobility. So it's tough. Like, he's a good number 2 quarterback, and James, you're going to see this come next week when we're drafting 16 of us, and we're going to be kind of scrapping and clawing for backup quarterbacks. Someone probably is going to roll out Brock Purdy at some point. And I mean, yeah, I'm a Desmond Ritter guy, but the
So
more I see things go on, I just feel like that Atlanta offense is going to be more of like maybe a Dak Prescott kind of offense, and not a more mobile kind of elusive kind of offense like the rest of the NFL is kind of leaning towards. So yeah, so there you
so
go. Okay,
two
yeah,
things here. Two things.
yeah, yep.
Seattle was a tribute to you. I can't do anything about that one.
There you go. Hey,
And
Devin
then
Witherspoon's
he
my
said he
guy,
took
man.
Brock Purdy just to tick off his he took Brock Purdy just to tick off his son-in-law who had the last pick. So basically he took Brock Purdy so he could possibly trade him down the line.
Gotcha. So that huh. Okay. Okay. So is this a relative of yours, Triggs,
No in the
or
room.
who's the 49ers fan? Who's this 49ers fan?
No, not a nope, 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 don't
No?
nope. I'm not claiming that one. Nope.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because I've always seen you represent the green and
This will
gold,
make a
so
few
I
people
don't know
laugh.
where to. Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Nope.
So yeah, I mean, the great thing you get with Seattle is you do get 4 games over this season against Arizona and the LA Rams. And Arizona basically just cut their starting quarterback today. So they're basically telling the league that we're going to play this season with a ragtag group of players at quarterback, and we're going to go all in to get Caleb Williams.
Wait a
Ah,
minute
there
now.
you go.
Uh,
There you go.
let me grab my
I'm seeing
2023
the family
draft
connections,
class.
James.
They have Clayton Tune from Houston, and I like that guy. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's still going to be Caleb Williams. The whole goal of this regime, ever since they brought in the GM from the Patriots and they brought in the defensive coordinator from Philadelphia, you can tell that both guys are on the same page and they absolutely dislike Kyler Murray and they want him out of the building as quickly as
Yeah,
possible. So
I'm okay
granted,
with
they
that.
can't get him out. Yeah, they can't get him out because of medical and HIPAA violations that would incur, but they will do everything legally to set it up so that they become one of the worst teams and set themselves up for a great situation to get the #1 overall draft pick or get Drake May out of North Carolina. Like, they're going to make sure they're one of the 2 worst teams in the NFL. They're not going to give up, but I think we're basically getting to the end of the NFL era of basically being able to tank and secure the #1 draft pick. I guarantee that lottery is going to be coming pretty soon. And it's probably going to come if it's clearly evident that Arizona is tanking the season. So something's got to be done to that extent. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. That's kind of the way
Yeah,
I see things.
I
But
I just like Clayton Tune.
okay. Yeah, and Houston is a school that can hang a lot of points, whether it's college hoops or college football. So, pretty good stuff. They've basically been in the mix for who's the champion in that American Athletic Conference between them and Memphis. So, yeah, you got some good stuff going on in Houston. So, good stuff. But I like the guy, but it's still clearly evident that you don't just cut Colt McCoy. Like, you don't. Like, he's played fairly well, despite the fact that they really have no quarterback. I think they've had a really nice offensive line. They've had good run blocking, good pass protection to what I've seen to this point. So yeah, they're definitely doing something kind of fishy to get that top pick in the draft. So we'll see what they do. But yeah, but yeah, overall, James, like I really like the team you got there. I think it's pretty strong. Definitely with how you built that lineup, and granted they you had to build it in a certain manner. I just think that team is absolutely top notch. So yeah, like I only had one tight end on it. If I saw that right, you see that right, Triggs, as well?
You broke up a lot there.
And pretty good.
That northern internet must be flying away.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is, man. Yeah, I
Your internet just shut down the whole show.
today. Yeah, yeah, like we're basically ready to get out the flint and steel and start up a campfire up here because yeah, it's remote. We're definitely remote up here. I can tell you that.
You need to
So
put your like
yeah,
a tinfoil hat
but
on and like
oh,
get
tinfoil
like an
cap on.
antenna. Yep.
Yeah.
So you've
Yes.
completely frozen again. Hopefully people can hear me. But
Yeah,
I think what Metrics is trying to
absolutely.
say, James,
That is a must. I mean, I'm seeing a phone internet either, so we're just gonna ride it.
um,
Uh-oh.
I think what he was trying to say is your tight end. He was looking at you don't have a backup tight end, so maybe once you get that Brock Purdy trade to the other gentleman, maybe you can get a tight end out of that, or I'm not really sure who Bigsby is. I can't remember that name off the top of my head. I want to say he's a backup running back somewhere, but maybe drop him. And if I don't know how this draft went, but maybe a Cole Kmet or something like that is out there. A Jawan Johnson from the Saints, Cole Kmet from the Bears. I did an entire video on tight ends that are bona fide number value for us. The Steve Metrics Bono. Uh, yeah, you could probably check that video on
I'm back.
YouTube or he's moving again. But if you could check that on like
I'm
YouTube
back.
or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, yep, I got you. You could probably find one of those tight ends
There we
probably
go.
in the waiver wire. Oh, he does say that he's in the waivers for
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
Jacksonville wide receiver no one drafted. Like Calvin Ridley or Christian Kirk. I hope he's still watching. I hope he
I'm
answers
hearing
that one.
something about Jacksonville. What's going
Yeah,
on with the Jacksonville players?
I read in one of his comments that he's in the
So
waivers for Jacksonville wide receiver number 2. Is that Christian Kirk or Calvin Ridley? Because if either one of them are out there, you need to go get him now. Like that guy should have been drafted
no,
like
I think it's Zay
I don't know,
Jones.
4th or 5th round
Zay
probably.
Jones is the number 2 wideout. Ridley in our 12-team draft. If we pull this up here, we're gonna see where Calvin Ridley should go, and I'll share that with what we got from our updated rankings that we're gonna be posting tomorrow on Instagram for everyone to view.
Oh my gosh.
So let me pull that
Calvin
up.
Ridley's a 3rd round pick.
What you got?
Or he's a 3rd round pick. You need to go get Calvin Ridley now.
Yeah, he
Like,
is a back of round 3. Or no, beginning of
yeah,
round 3. Yeah. Yep. So
yeah.
he's a
I
high
don't
end
know
pick.
why.
Granted, he has no bona fide number from
How did he not get drafted? I know metrics froze again here, but how
yeah,
did Calvin Ridley not get drafted? Do not show anyone this
I did.
video in your group or in your league. Don't share this video to them. You go get Calvin Ridley first, and then you share this to him. He's
Yeah.
literally he's at the top of round 3. You
Yes. Yeah, he's clearly one of the best players out there. I mean, everything that I've seen anywhere points that Calvin Ridley should be drafted very early in every single league. Like every single league. He is that good of a player. Um, and the other is, I mean, like when we're looking at these wide receivers, and to be honest, we start off
oh no, metrics. You're breaking up pretty
with
bad.
a wide receiver running. Oh no! All right, I'll stop sharing. See if that helps. Am I back? No,
Yep, you're kind of back.
no. Mm.
Kind of.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll take it. But yeah, that's now with this sheet. Maybe it gets wonkier if I try to put up more things on the screen. But you should be doing what anyone that's not running
Yeah,
back,
we're not getting anything you're saying, metrics.
except for Christian McCaffrey.
It's
I mean, you can definitely go with either an Austin Eckler or Bijan or orchestrate. Now that you have
so I guess metrics is completely frozen on us. Um, I mean, as you're hearing it from us, is whatever you need to do to get that to kind of whatever you can do in the waivers to get Calvin Ridley on your team. Um, you might have to drop Bigsby or uh, Brock Purdy, maybe. Like that he's basically a stud. Like you heard Metric say in um, the overall of ADP and average draft position, he's going in the 3rd round and pretty early. He's going before Christian Kirk, who was a stud last year for Jacksonville. Um, yeah, I wow, that's incredibly insane. I don't know who you were drafting with, but they they basically let you beat them because wow. And metrics is completely frozen. I don't know what's going on. He he was, I believe, suspended, right? Let's give it a quick look here. Because remember, he was a he was the top wide receiver in Atlanta. Metrics he's gone. He disappeared. But let me check up on Calvin Ridley here really quick just to make sure I'm not losing my marbles. Let's see. He was suspended for betting on games. And then he kind of stepped away for mental health issues at one point. But the big part was he was suspended for the entire season, and that was 2022 for betting on games. And then Atlanta kind of just let him walk, and he ended up on Jacksonville, which, remember, Jacksonville is going to do a lot of throwing out there. Calvin Ridley definitely doing his thing. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, my mind is so blown. I know they have Evan Ingram at tight end, which I'm really big on Evan Ingram. So yeah, they're gonna throw the ball a lot. Calvin Ridley's gonna get you some like big time scores.
I pulled some Northwoods Black Magic, and I'm back. I have reestablished the internet connection. I have, and I can tell you
Okay.
that Jacksonville offense is definitely going to be high flying. I'm with you, Triggs. Like, either you get Evan Ingram kind of middle of your draft, you'll see how fast a guy like Evan Ingram goes in our league. But like, I think that's almost like
Wait a
a
minute.
good pseudo handcuff to yes. What's up?
You got Tank Bigsby. Why did that just dawn on me just now? The backup running back for Jacksonville.
Yeah, even better. Like, getting a guy like that is huge, massive. By the way, any guy that's named Tank and he's out there in fantasy, you should get. Whether it's Tank Bigsby or Tank Dell, they're amazing. And I know we saw a little bit of Travis Etienne with first team offense, but honestly, it's just a matter of time before Tank Bigsby takes over. He's a much better runner, he's a harder runner, and it's literally a matter of time before he becomes a pass catcher. A guy like Tank Bigsby is insane. I even got another case for another running back that should be on this guy's team. Who do you think that is, Triggs? Because it's one of his bell cows, and it's probably his first overall pick. He should get Elijah. What? Yeah,
I have no idea anymore.
he should be getting Elijah Dotson. That's who. He is absolutely the go-to next Austin Eckler if Austin Eckler goes down. I mean, I know your team is stacked, and you can just kind of just basically pick a name out of a hat, and that's going to be good enough to not just only start but actually win your matchups. I think your team is stacked, James. I mean, you know these guys. You know the bona fide numbers that they put up last year, the value that these players bring. Honestly, if you're saying like possibly Bijan Robinson is one of your weaker running backs, you're loaded. You're just absolutely loaded. And I know everyone's high on Bijan, but we all have to remember that A, he's a rookie, and B, he's playing in a triple option offense. So as explosive as that guy looks, it's going to be hard to make it through a regular season. And it's going to be hard to put up insane numbers week in, week out. So you're probably going to be more consistent and more reliable looking at some of those other running backs that you have. I mean, that's just how loaded your team is. And that
But
flex position, yeah.
On his team, Bijan Robinson, he's a flex. He is literally a flex. What in the
Exactly.
world?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely how insane his team is because a Bijan Robinson should go very early. So yeah, it's pretty insane. And yes, now that Jacobs is returning to the Raiders, that's a big plus for that offense and big plus for an insane player for fantasy. And James knows this from looking at our list that Jacobs ranks as the best running back that we saw perform week in, week out at an elite level. His bona fide number value is just insane, and we'll show that to you guys real quick, just so you guys can get a better understanding of what you're talking about. And now that I figured out some internet magic tricks, and I'm not working off of just the Northwoods internet that I got up here. Oh, actually, never mind. Yeah, I'm still pulling some shenanigans. Let's see if I can open this up for you guys real quick. But yeah, here we go. So this is going to pop up and load for us shortly here. But basically what we're going to be showing you that even though a guy like Josh Jacobs is going in round 3 of most 12 teams drafts, well, that's because he's going in round 3 because most people didn't know when he was going to be, even if he was even going to be playing this season. So let me show you guys that right now. Here we go. Pulling it up here. There we go. Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Like, honestly, the 2 best running backs in the NFL last season were clearly Josh Jacobs and Christian McCaffrey. And then you got Austin Eckler there as well.
Yeah,
go ahead, Triggs.
he literally got 2 of the top 3 running backs.
Yeah.
He got the number 6 quarterback.
Yep.
He got the number 9 wide receiver and the number 12 wide receiver. Like,
yep. Yeah, those are phenomenal
and then
plays.
Gabe Davis is 18. Like,
yeah, Gabe Davis is 18, and like even though that was the best season of Gabe Davis's career, even that felt like it could have been even better because I know he was hurt for some of that season as well. So he's clearly a guy who easily could have been bona fide and could have been up there with the Zay Jones, the Jerry Judys of the world, you know?
Like, this is a perfect example of what the bona fide numbers are. And
yes,
if James just runs through his entire like league and he's 25-0, yeah, I just made up a number. And so and wins the championship, like everyone should come to Db8 Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, whatever that TikTok or Instagram like Twitter thing is. Trends, I don't know what it's called, but literally
Threads.
You should come and follow us, subscribe, and listen, because this is how you draft a team and destroy your friends.
It is.
They might not like you, and your family will probably hate you, but you're gonna kill them all. I can't say kill. You're gonna destroy them all.
Yes, absolutely. It's gonna be a phenomenal year for James's team. And this kind of goes back to what we talked about last week with Justin on Twitter, that he has his spreadsheets that he talks about and his dynasty league players that he covers and follows. And he drafted a team that was just insane of like Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. I think he had Justin Fields as his quarterback as well. Just an insane, elite, all-in team. And now that we're seeing these guys coming out of their holdouts, they're going to be really good players. So the fact that Josh Jacobs ironically played 0 snaps this preseason as opposed to playing a lot of snaps last preseason, I think is going to bode well for him. And you can talk about getting rust off, but honestly, it's going to take like 2 snaps, and Josh Jacobs is going to be hitting people with 100 pounds of force every single play. So I think this lineup's absolutely insane. You're going to start every week with Jacobs and Eckler, regardless. And then you'll think about
your lineup is still crazy.
Yep.
Your lineup is so crazy. He says it's not Calvin Ridley, it's Zay Jones. I'm going to give the floor to Metrics here because he loves Zay Jones. Go.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, like if you're in any league and you take Calvin Ridley, you need to take Zay Jones because 2 years ago, not 1 year ago, when he got suspended, But 2 years ago, when he went down, he actually only played 5 games 2 years ago. So you need to understand that the moment Calvin Ridley gets hurt, this offense reverts exactly back to what it was last season. And if that's the case, your outside weapon is Zay Jones, the guy running downfield who's going to be scot-free and torching secondaries left and right, and safeties aren't going to be able to cover. That guy is Zay Jones. And the only reason why Zay Jones wasn't even better last season is because that offensive line for Jacksonville stinks. Even in this third preseason game that we just saw, there was still an unchecked defender coming through like a hot knife through butter through that offensive line and making Trevor Lawrence panic to an extent. So we're still seeing a Trevor Lawrence that is still playing under duress and not having that time in the pocket to really make his true progressions downfield and figure out who the most opportunistic wide receiver is for the Jaguars. And a lot of times last year, it was Zay Jones. And when your offensive line stinks, you're going to check down to Christian Kirk a lot, and even your Evan Ingrams of the world and those kind of things. But when you really want a guy open downfield, whether it's a Jamal Agnew or a Zay Jones, if that offensive line gets better, he's going to get those opportunities. And a guy like Calvin Ridley, who has big play potential, should really get more opportunities if that offensive line is better. And maybe that's why you draft a guy like Tank Bigsby, because not only is he in the backfield, well, now when more additional pressure comes through, that unchecked blocker can now get picked up by Tank Bigsby.
Oh, you know what? I mean, that this has been fantastic because we've been breaking down the draft. I know you want to do some draft things. Can we move that to tomorrow when you have a better signal? And then I will also, here's a little teaser. I'll bring out my draft that I had this past weekend, 16 teamer, boom, and we'll run that down too.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, a little spoiler alert for tomorrow's episode for everyone viewing. DJ Triggs is going to be riding solo for that one. I am in transit. I will be in traffic between this campsite I have up here in the North Woods to getting back home to our neck of the woods of Milwaukee tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna set this up, and this will be DJ Triggs's first show flying solo. And I know I had to do it a time or two already this year, but hey, we're No Debate Sports. That's why we're here together. That's why we do what we do, and we're flexible, and we're always gonna make it work for you guys. So so yeah, we're gonna set this up. We'll make it good, and Triggs is gonna have some fire content for you guys breaking down his draft tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
I should have brought all my basketball stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you about that, but you were really excited about it, and I wanted to get that out here while you were fresh and happy about it. So I'm good with what we did. So I like that.
It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we got more fantasy football stuff for you guys coming. Triggs will be doing his awesome breakdown tomorrow, and we'll be putting out some more stuff throughout the end of this week. I'll try to come up with some fantasy tidbits, and Triggs will too. And a big thing between me, Triggs, James, you're seeing it over in the comments. Some of our other viewers and people we know are in this league. And when you guys come here next week, Monday, we'll be breaking it down. We'll be breaking down our picks. We'll be breaking down each other's picks and seeing what we like, what we don't like. And the toughest thing about this is a 16-team league. So guys like Calvin Ridley getting undrafted, guys like Josh Jacobs going – who knows what, round 4, round 5, something crazy like that. Yeah, those guys are really not going to be available. Like, we're talking to Josh Jacobs is going to go maybe round 2, round 3, and a guy like Calvin Ridley could go even round 1. Like that's how impressive like these guys are. And drafting in a big league makes it even harder. And especially with our lineup, the fun thing that we have in our league is our lineup isn't just like these fantasy. Just put a bunch of good guys out there and don't even like worry about lineups and do like crazy formats and whatnot. We actually try to build our lineups as if to what you are seeing on the field. So you are going to see a quarterback, and then you're going to see some combination of 5 skill players behind them, just like you see in real life. So I tried to design this league so it is similar to what you see in real life. So anyone who watches football and is possibly new to fantasy football, basically you can pick up what you've seen on TV and transition it to fantasy football. And I wish more fantasy football leagues kind of came across that mindset. But I allow it, so if you want to put 2 running backs out there, you can. If you want to run 12 personnel, you can. If you want to run something where you have like just a traditional setup of three wideouts, a back, and a tight end, you can do that. But that's kind of how we designed it, and it's a pretty fun league. So, and we have 8 starters. We got 8 players on our bench, and that's our lineups. So it's going to be what it is. But man, when you go 16 teams in a league, it is tough. It is really, really tough. So yeah, we'll see what stuff happens. And just a little tidbit for people out there: James is in our league, and he is picking last at 16. So is he going to get an Austin Eckler way late, a Bijan Robinson way late? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see what stuff happens. I got some tricks up my sleeve, and yeah, I'm gonna start wielding them next week. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's pretty good for a show today. So what video game you got behind you today, Triggs?
Oh, I think we did that one.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's flip the old camera here.
Okay.
Oh, we're going this way. It is Monday Night Raw, WWF.
Oh wow! Before they became the WWE. Good stuff. There you go. Is there anyone notable in that one?
I don't even know what year this is. The
I would think
Undertaker is in it,
probably. Oh, there you go.
and
Yeah.
Canada's finest Bret Hart.
There you go. Well, what more could you ask for? That's perfect. There you go.
No idea.
Okay. And then my special belt that I got is Looney Tunes. We're going Roadrunner. So I got some yellow belt action going on today. Yeah, there we go. So yeah. Just one other shout out. Yeah, we're shooting this on StreamYard, and even though I'm up in the North Woods in like an RV park or something, who knows where I'm at? I probably got like one of those tinfoil sleeping blankets. But yeah, we're shooting this on StreamYard. So hopefully you have better internet if you choose to do your own podcast out there on StreamYard. But there it is. You can follow us on all these socials that are streaming across. We got some threads action like Triggs was talking about. But yeah, follow us, subscribe. Instagram, you're going to see a lot more stuff coming in the future. TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever it is, Facebook, YouTube. Check us out. We got a lot of stuff coming, and there's more every day. So yeah. So that's it for today's show. Tomorrow, DJ Triggs, your boy, flying solo tomorrow. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy, DJ Triggs. We're No Debate Sports, and that's No Debate. Boom.